I don't know if you know, if you don't fly a lot, the airline industry is in disarray. And it's been pretty much in disarray since Reagan deregulated it. And it's been a race to the bottom. Everybody hates flying. It's such a miserable experience. Before 9/11, it was a chore, and now flying after is an ordeal. And now they're canceling flights by the thousands. And they won't tell you why. Remember when this started happening right after people started flying after COVID again? They started saying, oh, there was weather. Oh, Southwest canceled 1,000 flights. They said because of weather. But no other airline canceled their flight. So we're starting to figure out what the real reason is. And it seems like the real reason that there aren't enough flights and they're canceling all these flights is because they encouraged the people who didn't want to take the vax to retire. So that's what is happening. So tens of thousands of airline employees took early retirement because they don't want to take the vax. Now, they won't tell you that. But they're going to tell you that in a little bit. Right, so he'll hint to it. Here we go. Watch this.
So the bottom line is we've got 11 million people moving through the system from today through Monday. That's a lot of people. We don't have nearly as many seats and planes as we had back in 2019, but we are pushing.
Why? Why don't we have as many seats and planes as we had back in 2019? Why? They never asked. Why doesn't he ask that question? Why aren't there as many seats and planes as we had in 2019? They gave the airline industry $54 billion during COVID so they wouldn't fire anybody. So again, the conspiracy theorist idea, so this is the conspiracy theory, is that it's because of the vax. Because these employees weren't willing to do it, so they forced them into early retirement. And that's why we're short on flight attendants, we're short on pilots, we're short on ground crew, we're short on everything, because the airline industry, instead of retaining those employees, encouraged them to retire. And a lot of the conspiracy theorists say that it's because of the vax. Now, I don't know if you've been playing along at home during COVID. The conspiracy theorists are 5-0. Huh. They're 5-0. They're not conspiracies anymore. They're just spoiler alerts. So I don't know if that's for certain why but I know that the airline industry encouraged tens of thousands of people to retire early when they weren't supposed to do that because they were given a bailout to make sure that we retain those employees. And now we don't have them. And now they're canceling flights by the thousands. Here we go.
So the bottom line is we've got 11 million people moving through the system from today through Monday. That's a lot of people. We don't have nearly as many seats and planes as we had back in 2019, but we are pushing 2019 travel numbers, and the cancellations are mounting. We've detailed this out for months on end, and it's not getting better, and it's unlikely to get better anytime soon. The airlines don't have enough pilots. In some cases, not enough flight attendants, not enough customer service reps to answer the phones. It goes on and on.
Now, remember, they lied about this when it started. Remember, they were lying about it. They were saying it was because of weather or technical problems or whatever. They decided to lie. Why would they lie? Why would they lie? Well, two reasons, right? The one reason was because they weren't supposed to fire people or encourage people to quit. They were supposed to retain their employees, which is why they got bailed out. That's one reason that they would lie. But why wouldn't the media see through that lie? Who knows? Oh, maybe because the other reason is the conspiracy theories idea about the vaccines is right, and then the media is bought by big pharma, so they don't want to report that. So those are two theories of why this is not being reported correctly.
How is
and
it
why
even
they lied? Why they lied, and why the news media also lied. Go ahead.
How is it even a conspiracy theory? I remember them saying they were pushing people out. Back during the pandemic, they were saying that.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Like
They're not saying. They're not saying because of the vax. They're saying that they were encouraging people to retire early, but they're not saying because they wouldn't take the vax. That's the conspiracy part.
Wasn't there a controversy of pilots that didn't want to take it and they were fired? Like,
yes, there was
a lot of stories.
Yeah,
like that.
Yes, there was. But again, that gets very little press. That gets press, but very little. Okay, so here we go.
And to your point during the break, you were suggesting this could last. We hope not. We hope it's solved by the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah. Right now, that's the concern because it takes time to hire and train enough pilots. They're hoping that they can right-size their schedules.
So they didn't see this coming. They didn't see this coming, that people would go back to flying?
In accordance with their staffing levels, enough pilots by Thanksgiving, by Christmas. Let's hope it's sooner than that. But that's going to be the next true test, of course. And so the pressure is going to be building over the next few months to ensure.
Yeah. $54 billion, 28,000 fewer jobs. Now, I even questioned this number. I bet it's higher. Lawmakers want airline CEOs to explain what happened to stimulus aid. That's the same amount of money we sent to Ukraine. We sent that again. That's enough money to end homelessness probably 2-3 times over in the United States. We gave to the airline industry, and what they do, then they started telling people to retire. And so, what happened to that $54 billion? Are you going to start asking questions?
$54 billion to keep their staffs in place and not fire anybody. The trouble is the airlines never anticipated we would have this kind of a resurgence in passenger traffic, so they let.
Who could have seen this coming? Who could have seen that after 2 years of being locked down in their house, people would actually want to go travel? Who could have seen this coming except everybody? Except everyone. And so now they're doing that. That's that thing about 9/11. Nobody saw it coming, so nobody's responsible. But everybody did see 9/11 coming, and everybody did see this coming.
Well, no one saw inflation coming.
I guess no one saw inflation.
The hidden killer.
Yeah.
Pilots retire early. That's the problem. They let all these people retire early, flight attendants also. And it takes time to then retrain pilots.
Well, like I said, they let them.
Yes.
Yeah.
They let them retire early. What do you mean they let them retire early? They could have retired early at any time in their, that doesn't make sense. They encourage them. And now, again, going back to the conspiracy theorists, they would say they were forced out because they didn't want to participate in the vax program. Now, again, I don't know what the numbers are on that. So, but again, just to let you know, conspiracy theorists about 5-0 going for COVID. So, and just remember that this guy's check is signed by Big Pharma. No matter what, as his check is signed by Big Pharma. And here we go.
On top of that, even some pilots who took a leave of absence, the airlines did not maintain their certification during that time, their training during that time.
What?
So now they're really behind the 8 ball. They don't have enough pilots, and the pilots who came back because it was a short-term, leave of absence, they may not be certified back in the cockpit again.
$54 billion we gave the airline industry, and they don't have enough pilots. Give me $2 billion, and I'll get you enough pilots. Give me $1 billion. Give me $1 billion. I'll make sure the United States has enough pilots. They can't figure this out. They didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, there were an awful lot of mistakes made, presumptions that we would never have a resurgence of travel like we've got, and now they're trying to catch up. And it will take probably years to catch up and make sure that they are fully staffed again.
Years, Kurt. So, Kurt, you just had a flight canceled. When we were coming back from...
I got to get a flight. Am I going to even get to my shows in Pittsburgh?
I was coming home from Pittsburgh, and our flight just was canceled. They just go, hey, your flight's canceled. They don't say why. They scheduled the flight. They booked everybody on that. They knew they weren't going to have enough people to man that flight, and they didn't care.
Yeah, Fort Worth, that's what happened. They put us up in the Holiday Inn at the airport.
And so then, and you're lucky that they did that, because I've had flights canceled. They don't give you a voucher. They don't give you anything. They have a certain number of vouchers, and as soon as those are gone, they're gone.
Oh my God.
I've had that happen. So $54 billion. And of course, nothing's going to happen to the airline industry because the airline industry owns the government. The government is completely corporate captured. It's captured by Big Pharma, military industrial complex, Wall Street, and Big Pharma. So you're not, this is amazing. So here we are in a horrible crisis, and you know how we could fix this? I think we send a couple more $1 billion to Ukraine. Maybe hey, how about if we give $80 more billion to the military so they can build more missiles and planes and shit that we don't need? Maybe we should do that.
Is not enough just normal flights good for the liberal world order? Is that gonna
Right?
be-
July 3rd, we're doing a live show in Los Angeles, and then we're going to Chicago, Sacramento, San Diego, Bakersfield. See you there. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets.